Tervetuloa uuden videon pariin. Mä tulin tähän kaverin Julianin kämpille just aika moinen työmaa vielä tuolla, mutta tuolla on Bisnestä Dubaista ja se näkyykin Burj Khalifa myös, se maailman korkein rakennus. Ja mä tulin tänne tänään äänittelee videoa Julianin kanssa siitä, että millaista on tehdä Bisnestä Dubaista, miksi hän siirtyi Dubaihin Saksasta. Ja keskustellaan yleisesti myös vähän siitä, että miten hän elättää itsensä suoraan erilaisten platformien avulla, kuten esimerkiksi Upwork ja Fiverr ja muut tämmöiset. Ja ajattelin, että tästä tuleekin varmasti tosi hyvä jakso, koska musta on itse tosi mielenkiintoista se, että vaikka mäkin teen koneella tosi paljon töitä ja suurimman osan ajasta niin mä voisin olla missä mä haluan ja tehdä töitä mistä lokaatioista mä haluan, niin silti Julian tekee sitä vähän ehkä vielä eri tavalla. Hän tekee niin puhtaasti yksin kautta parin ihmisen kanssa ja hän oikeasti matkustelee ja tekee tämmöistä nykyaikaista hyvin liiniä freelancer-työtä puhtaasti erilaisille asiakkaille ja tosi hyvillä tuloksilla vielä. Hypätään pidemmittä puhetta haastatteluun ja toivottavasti saatte tästä paljon irti, että miten kannattaa itse lähteä tekemään tuommoista freelancer-hommaa ja mitä hyötyä siitä, että miksi kannattaa tuolla Dubai.
Welcome. We will change the language to English now so that our great guests know what we are talking about. So, welcome, Julian.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah. So, I briefly talked, like in the intro, that why we are doing this video, but I think it would be first interesting to know, like, a little bit of your background.
Yeah.
What do you do and what do you do for a living? The YouTuber or the TikToker.
Besides YouTube, of course. No, basically I started out very humbly, so I didn't really finish high school. And after that I had a lot of odd jobs, like pizza delivery guy, all those kind of things. But at the side I was always trying to build something online because I thought it was the easiest way, you don't need too much capital. And yeah, that was my main concern. And then I got into real estate just when I turned 18 because I also wanted to get into real estate, but before 18 you cannot really get into real estate legally. So, and then I did that for like 2 years approximately, maybe a little bit longer. And after that I wanted to travel. I didn't want to be on the phone for hours every day. And then I thought back about the times when I was doing some money online or making some money online. And then I figured, okay, how can I get clients for something online and how can I make money and travel the world and yeah, live good, basically.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's like in a nutshell.
Yeah.
With like all the ups and downs, but in a nutshell.
Yeah, when we first called, we actually met through Upwork, so
yeah,
it's an interesting story. Like we were seeking someone to take care of our sales in Germany that we would like to kind of pilot there. So that's how our road
first. Yeah.
And I think you were in Germany.
Yeah, at that time I was in Potsdam, so very close to Berlin.
Yeah.
And and then we basically were talking. We didn't really figure the numbers out in a way that it would make sense for both of us. But yeah, we stayed in contact and we don't look back ever since.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, this is a really good point that you should always put yourself in the positions where you can meet people like you and maybe your roads will cross in Dubai.
Exactly. Oftentimes with people, no matter if real estate or online, you meet the same people twice or 3 times. So it's always important to not build a bad reputation. And also it's very important to stay in contact because sometimes people change their business model and all of a sudden they need someone like you for their services or they know someone, and if you're always in contact, that oftentimes brings you revenue long after the first contact. So yeah, you should always stay in touch with people that are in power or
yeah, that was nice. I have to check the questions.
Yeah. How much do you do? So that they know if it's worth to listen.
Yeah, so right now we are in Dubai. When did you move here? Like
Officially in May. So in end of April 2021, I was looking for ways to not pay tax legally. I was living in Germany, had my residency and citizenship in Germany, and I paid a lot of tax, and I really wanted to get out of the tax system in Germany, but in a legal way. So then I was looking into different options, and one of them was, for example, Malta, the British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, all of those places where you don't pay any tax or just a little bit. But Dubai had the benefit that in Dubai, if you are a resident here, you don't have to stay in the country for 180 days of the year, or at least I think it's still like that, but double check since the year can be outdated at one point. But back then you could just travel, and after 180 days go through the airport, and then you can go and travel again and go through the airport and still keep your residency here. And that was pretty convincing to me because I didn't want to stay in Malta or Cyprus for 180 days of the year in a very small city where I cannot do anything. I wanted to travel and still pay no tax. And Dubai was perfect for that. But also I really liked the city, and but only now since I live here I really fell in love with the city, because everything you want you can get it in a minute or with 1 or 2 taps. You can get cleaners, you can get food delivered at any time, you can anything you can imagine they deliver it. You go to a shoe shop in the mall and they deliver it for free. The weather is always great, even though it's bright sometimes. But
yeah, I have to get my sunglasses pretty soon.
yeah, we should get them. And now we can smile without.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's pretty interesting. Like many people, I think nowadays are seeking to be like the financial solution to travel the world and see the other places. So then this is like maybe we could hop on like on how did you do it? Like you said that you just travel the world and make some money, obviously. But what do you really do? Like
so basically, I was heavily into copywriting at one point. But when I was very young, and then I transitioned into real estate, and when I was looking to go back into the online world, I didn't just go for copywriting jobs or gigs, I did, but also I was just looking on Upwork, where is the demand really high, the budget is really high, and also ideally it can be something recurring or long term, and at the same time where is the competition very low. So for example, if you go for Facebook ads, media buying, everyone is doing that. And there is a lot of competition, and they all have a lot of testimonials. I didn't have any testimonials, so I didn't even look into that. But I was just going through every category. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was going from the standpoint, I will search for the service that really is in demand, where they pay a lot, and then I will learn how to fulfill the service. I was not looking at my strength, I was looking at the market, where is the demand. And then I realized email marketing or CRM marketing for e-commerce, so email, SMS, loyalty programs, was in very high demand. They were always paying a lot because e-commerce stores, they make a lot from email and SMS marketing, 20 to 30% if you do it right. And so they can pay you a lot. And then I signed the first client. I told him I have like copywriting skills, I have done email marketing, all of this. I just had not put it all together in the e-commerce world. And he was like, okay, and I was offering him, if he doesn't like the result, I will not charge him anything. So he would get a full refund, but would keep what I was building. So it was a no-brainer offer for him. And he was like, okay, let's do it. We have 1 week time. If it doesn't work in this 1 week, basically I will hire someone else and you will not make money, but if the risk is on you, but if you want to, I can give you that chance. And I jumped on it. And so basically I bought a course on how to do email marketing for e-commerce stores. I was watching the whole course over the weekend. I learned everything I could on YouTube, on blog articles. I subscribed to some newsletters to just see how they had the opt-in process and everything in place. Yeah, and then I just learned it over the weekend. I was building the same system in the next week. And in the end he liked it so much, he was like, okay, you can get paid, that's decent work. And then I asked him to get a, not referral, but a testimonial or like a review on Upwork. And that's how I got started. But also in the beginning, I got like 5 or 6 reviews for jobs that were like $5 or $10. Where I worked like for 5 hours to get $10. Which what doesn't make sense at all. But I got the good reviews, and they wrote me insanely good reviews because obviously you cannot expect to get quality in that class. But then I had like a 5-star rating and good reviews, so that's why he was also trusting me a little bit that I would at least deliver something. And no or risk reversal guarantee, he was willing to give me the chance, and that's how I started. And from there I just signed more and more clients, then I built some recurring clients, so basically I had an initial setup and then also a recurring model, and that was a game changer actually.
Yeah, but this is really interesting. Like, if we could just briefly go through, like, Upwork is a place where freelancers and the like companies kind of like see each other. So the companies go to Upwork to find like doers for gigs and different kind of tasks. And that's like, so right now I think you are at that point that people like companies build their like we want this, and there will be like requests for you to come to take the gig. So it's like fully automated. You don't have to like make sense for it.
Yeah, exactly. No, in the beginning you can write proposals, and you always should pay for those extra points that you need to write more proposals. In the beginning you just reach out to the jobs that are listed, but now I'm in the fortunate position that every day I get 1 or 2 requests on Upwork for jobs. Most of them aren't interesting at all. But every once in a while there is something very interesting, and then I jump on it. But the important thing is that you should never take a job that you are not 100% sure that you can fulfill the job, or that the other person will not write you a bad review or report you or something. Because I had the worst clients I had were very cheap clients where I was just like, oh, I'm gonna eat this project for breakfast. It's very simple, but they didn't get the strategy, or it was a misunderstanding, and I was like, I will build the same thing that I built for multi-million-dollar brands, but they were startups and they just didn't get the strategy, even though it was the right strategy. They didn't get it, they were very upset, they requested refunds on Upwork and wrote me bad reviews, and it's just a headache. And for low amounts, it's always important, once you have that flow of requests, that you are very picky, because once you get a bad one, it's just a headache. And the German clients are the worst. I have to admit, German clients,
keep that in mind if you are in Upwork.
Don't go and work for Germans. So, no, really, I had not one great experience with Germans. Last week and the week before, I signed 2 clients from Germany, very small projects, and both wanted to get, one wanted half the refund and one wanted to pay only 75% for nothing. Basically, I delivered. It's insane. They realized, oh, he's doing that in 2 days. I thought I will pay him for 2 weeks. And that's also a trick. If you deliver for a big amount, but it doesn't take you a lot of time, you should never deliver right the next day, because then they realize, fuck, I just paid him a couple grand for 2 or 3 days of work, and then they request to add more work, or like they renegotiate. I want to. So always keep it like.
But you're like, you have built this all by yourself, and you are doing this by yourself. And I think it's really interesting. Like nowadays, like I said, many people are like seeking these solutions to get out of the like basic 9 to 5. And I think you have done it.
So I'm 24/7 now. I made it.
I saw a good meme about that. Like, before I was entrepreneur, I was working 9 to 5, and now I'm working 24/7.
Exactly. For example, just today I got a request at 3 a.m. in the morning. I know the guy is actually also in Dubai, so at 3 a.m. he's like, I need the copy written by tomorrow evening. Can you do it? And just because I was so quick, basically, before I got out of bed and took a shower, I made approximately $200 just for writing some basic copy. But because I know the guy, he trusts me, and also because it was speed to lead, or I was just. He couldn't find someone else. So it's like a flywheel at one point. In the beginning you just have to push it, and then after a while, once it's running, it's hard to stop it, and now I'm at the point where I really wonder. I just pray every day that this is not going to stop or end very soon, because I can get more business than I can handle, and I really am very picky nowadays with the clients. And in the beginning it was so hard, I cannot even believe it. Every day I wake up grateful for the situation I am in, because I know different times.
But this is a sign for you if you are thinking like could I do this? This is like
Yeah.
a perfect example. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have the skills, I didn't have case studies, I didn't have any knowledge or background. I mean, the background was not really in a sense where people would say, okay, he knows how to do this. And even I was not showing some fake testimonials or screenshots of other people's results. So, and still I managed to make it after a while, but in the beginning, the first month, you just have to apply every day and you always have to be the first one to the application. So I was just sitting in front of the computer, pressing like repeat to reload. Yeah, every day I was just sitting there for 8 hours. Every 15 minutes I checked if there's a new post for something I would be interested in. And I replied right away, and I was always like, I'm available for a call now until the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
So then the ones that really wanted to have a fast solution, I was there. And yeah, in the beginning that's how you have to do it, but even today I still have to do it like that, because if this guy, for example, if I wouldn't deliver now, and he would search for someone else that is maybe cheaper, because that was not really cheaper, but a fast solution, then next time he will also reach out to the other guys. So it's, you still have to keep that momentum. That's the most important thing. You cannot just be like, okay, I will just live from the recurring clients, because sometimes they fall apart, or like things happen and then you lose a big chunk of your monthly revenue that you you should never bet on revenue, even though the agreement is signed.
So then the important question, how much do you make?
Yeah, that's the most important. So it really depends a little bit, because I have recurring clients and I have one-off projects, and I have sometimes kind of projects, for example, for 3 months until I build a whole system for people. But in the end, I would say now I'm at the point where it's always from the recurring revenue alone, I could live a great life, and I'm well beyond my means still, because it can always break away. I don't want to play the risk game. And then on top of that, sometimes it's fascinating to me, because sometimes I just sign a client for 3 months that pays me $4,000 extra, and then next day I sign another one and it's like $1,000 for a couple months, and then you just make $5,000 more for the next month. But then sometimes during Christmas things slow down, so then it's like more chill. So it's always in waves, and you should always jump on things. Once they come, you should never depend on the revenue you have. But I would say it's I mean, 6 figures is what everyone goes for. I would say that's not 7 figures, but in the 6 figure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's really good. Like,
And also I have to say, most of the time I work a lot, but also if I would just work, I would make a lot more. But I would like to learn also new skills or do something like this. But if I would just sit in front of the computer, I'm sure I could make a hell of a lot more. But it's always about if I learn new skills, I will make more money tomorrow, but not today. And if I would just work today, I would not make the same amount that I could make tomorrow if I would learn new skills. But
and it's really important that I think in like digital marketing and tech that you always know what's the hype now.
Exactly.
You have to be on top of the wave that is.
Exactly. If you don't listen to new podcasts or interviews or follow newsletters that are always giving you updates, after 3 months you don't know what's going on and you cannot adjust. And also clients are really, it's always convincing to them. For example, if you have certain strategies already planned for other companies for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and they are looking for someone, and then they just show them what you plan for this other. So it's always good to be a couple, 1 or 2 months ahead with the campaign plan, and that oftentimes sells the clients just by showing them what you can do and not what you did. That's the interesting thing also to me. Most clients, they buy from me because I show them what I can build for them, and not just what I did for others, because it's such a fake world. Everyone is fake testimonials, fake reviews. They hire actors to get them on. But if you tell them what you can do, and then you have some background information that you can share with them, that's what builds the trust. And then you just name a price. And also the price is very interesting. I mean, to be honest, I charge what the company can make, a percentage of it. So for the same service, sometimes I just charge them $1,000, and then another client that just raised a couple million euros, I charge them $10,000 for the exact same service. But I know they are willing to pay it. And also, it's always about who you sell to. If I sell to a company and raise a couple million, I tell them I will give you a whole email system for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 euros. They will be like, oh, this must not be good. It cannot be good for that price. So you always have to be more on the high end in their mind. It doesn't have to be on the high end in total, but in their mind.
Yeah, but I think that's the like dream position to be on a freelancer scheme, that you are like focusing on the high-end clients and not the like headaches who are like wanting to have like something really cheap.
Exactly. Whenever I signed a client that was very cheap, other than the first 5 or 6 in the beginning that were like so cheap they couldn't even believe I actually delivered something. But the cheap clients are the clients that have they make the biggest headache work. They ask for refunds, they write you bad reviews, and in the end they blame you if it's not working because you changed the strategy based on their like information. If you have an established business, they have brand guidelines, they have copywriters, graphic designers, for example, and you just build the strategy and they pay you 10 times more compared to this other small startup that expects you to do everything. And in the end they are unhappy, but they don't have brand guidelines, they don't have like a tone of voice that you can build something with. So small clients in the beginning you have to eat it, but once you get some momentum it's always a headache and they will destroy your reputation very fast if you don't be careful.
That's true. Let's talk about a bit like how hard is to do like build a company in Dubai. What are the benefits?
So the benefits,
of course, the taxes, but like you can like maybe let's talk about your process. Like how did you do it and how long it was?
So I would not recommend to do it like me because I was getting the tax bill and I was okay. I'm not gonna do this one more year. So I had like 2-3 weeks until I would qualify for the next year of income tax and corporate tax in Germany. So I was like, okay, I need to find a solution very quickly. And then I was just Googling for like 6 or 7 hours, and after that I told my ex-girlfriend, okay, I'm gonna set up everything in Dubai. I've never been to Dubai. I didn't know anything about Dubai basically. I mean, I knew the basics, but I've never been here. I didn't know anyone. I didn't speak the language. And after 6 hours of research, I was okay, I'm gonna go here. And 2 or 3 weeks later, I don't know exactly, I was here and I set up my company, got my visa here. I unsubscribed from the German tax bill by I canceled the subscription. It was a forced subscription. So and then basically, I was very lucky because I chose the right free zone. So, for example, now in the mainland of Dubai, from next year on, I think it's sure you pay 9% corporate tax on after a certain amount of profit that is free. And I was lucky enough to set up the company in Ajman, which is a free zone, and there I will not pay any tax, which was very good. But
so no taxes.
Zero. Zero. Nada.
Especially for Finns, that's like what?
For Germans it's also like my process was I could almost double my income just by moving location, and I'm traveling anyways. So I don't have any benefits of staying in Germany, but a lot of like upside, downside, or risk reward didn't make sense in Germany. And here it's very easy to set up a company. You just text the government via WhatsApp. Anytime they will answer and reply, or the free zone entity company set up. And I also wouldn't hire a consultant. You just go straight to the company or to the registry, to the administration where you can set up the company. You bombard them with all your questions. They are very happy, very friendly, and reply via WhatsApp at, I don't know, 11 p.m. in the evening. And you don't need to hire a consultancy if you come here for a freelance thing or a one-man show or something small. If I would have 35 employees, I would need a strategy for sure. But if you just want to move here and wipe out your tax bill basically, then you can definitely do that just by texting your organization so you can set up your company.
That's really interesting. And I also think that the Finns are like, when you are like
If we could do that in Finland, like what you have done, like maybe do something about like 10k a month or so, then we would have to pay at least 20% of the corporate tax. So really think about this when you are like building this type of freelance business where it's not located. You don't have to be like physically anywhere.
Exactly. If it's remote, you should never go to a place where you pay tax, in my opinion. Of course, it's controversial, and I know I was very lucky to grow up in Germany, and at the same time also there were some deficits. But yeah, I know it's controversial, but for me, I think I worked so much and so hard, and also I didn't go to university or got that for free or anything. So I think it's my obligation to first make the money, and then you can still give back. It doesn't mean because if you give money to the government and by paying tax, it doesn't mean it helps anyone. They just waste on stupid things in Germany, like insane. Probably we should cut that. but yeah, I mean, But if you want to help someone, you can still do that. Paying tax doesn't help anyone most of the time. I think you can still donate or give to charity in ways, and maybe that's more helpful even than paying tax.
I think that you should be able to make your own decisions about where you're paying tax or are you paying it. So.
Yeah, exactly. And
let's keep the politics out.
Yeah. Politics.
So this was for you if you have to think that I pay too much taxes and I want to go somewhere else.
Yeah, Dubai is the place. If you're from Europe, Dubai is the place. I think if you're in the US and have a US citizenship, Puerto Rico is the only place you can really go. But Europe, you should consider Dubai. I would only recommend it for everything. The way they set up everything, everyone is super respectful in the government buildings. It's a very clean city, and I think the safest city I've ever been to. Every person I meet, they tell me like at 3 a.m. in the morning, they can just go from wherever they came from and walk on a dark street. Nobody will protect them because, it's a safe place.
What was the name? Habibi, come to Dubai.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they mean. It's very safe. And also the weather is great, and the beaches. There's a pool and gym in almost every building, so you don't need to pay for that. But living expenses are also not considerably higher than most places in Europe, other than the living. Like you pay a lot for rent, probably more than other countries, but you get a lot, and also, if you want to live comfortable and go to restaurants, it's not really more expensive, and you don't pay tax. You have to take that into consideration.
So if you have any questions regarding setting up business in Dubai or freelancing business, especially like how to build up your freelance business, or how to get the first clients, or how to monetize it, maybe in the longer run, then I think you could just drop your questions below. I could forward them to Julian. And,
Definitely.
I think you are happy to help also.
Yeah, of course. I was at the very bottom. I know how it feels, and I don't mind if it doesn't take too much time. Then I don't mind helping people because I know how it feels.
Yeah. So feel free to ask your questions if you have something in mind. But thanks, Julian, for this.
Thank you for having me. Very nice interview, and I'm sure we will shoot a second episode somewhere in the future.
Yeah. Thank you, and see you on another video.
Yeah, thank you.